If you remember from the last episode, this is where we was at last week. And we are going to jump in this week, Killings, with a great match against El Hijo del Vikingo. You know, we've got quite a few moving parts. But this power is going to be all about story. So let's jump into power right now. And we just got a little pre-show, which obviously doesn't affect our match rating, as you guys know. So we're just getting the reps in. Jill Penn and Eddie Pyle are just some youngsters that we found around in the system. I think they are AR Fox's proteges, or they were trained by AR Fox. Also, Kylie Page, we definitely needed to make sure that she gets some reps in the ring because she definitely needs to improve. You're only going to improve by wrestling. So, yep, she beat the both of them with a code Kylie. And yeah, cool. 23 segment rating. I wouldn't expect anything else. Crowd were not into it. They don't know who they are. No story here. So that's fine. And then in this one, Future Vision, again, just getting them guys some reps, getting their experience as a tag team up. And they went against Puma King, who's only on like $60 a show, and Troy Brendan, who is another protege of AR Fox. I found them because AR Fox asked if they could come backstage to the show, and then we negotiated and we just got them in. They're getting like $20 a show. So let them put some reps in. So Future Vision defeated those two, of course, and they've shown good chemistry together. Drew London seemed a little bit off his game, but the segment rating got a 45, which is pretty good. So let's get into the main show. So in a bout that had superb wrestling and good heat, the Syndicate defeated the Agency when Shelton Benjamin pinned AR Fox after using a foreign object. During the match, we had Kevin Koo distract AR Fox, and Cedric Alexander was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performance, which is pretty surprising. But Shelton Benjamin with a 72 for a TV match, I mean, am I surprised? No. But he basically carried this match. Cedric with a 58, so even though everyone else was head and shoulders above him, he wasn't actually that bad. He was fine, 58. Blake Christian, 67. AR Fox, 67. The tag titles storyline advanced because Kevin Koo and Dominic Garrini are in the tag storyline with the Agency, who are the tag team champions. But the Syndicate go through and they get to the final of the Crockett Cup. 67 segment rating. Crowd was super into it, and the wrestling rating was 66. So the crowd are hot and rising from the first match. Then we had a Ronhausen segment. Ronhausen discussed Shinsuke. Shinsuke Nakamura attacked Danhausen last week. Ron says if Shinsuke wants a title shot, then forget the Crockett Cup pay-per-view. He will be in the ring tonight waiting for him. Title on the line. And it was serious, but it was kind of funny as well. Obviously, yeah, comic relief. Gives the segment a boost from both of them. Segment rating is 83. So this segment has got the crowd white hot. So as far as we know now, Ron Killings, Shinsuke, maybe tonight on Power. Kaito Kiyomiya defeated Reza with a Tiger suplex hold. Kaito Kiyomiya with a 56. Sorry. Reza with a 52. I mean, it's kind of high for him. I was kind of just letting him lose to Kaito to put him over. I've released a Cam, his tag partner. So we're probably going to release Reza as well now. We just use him to put people over. He's got decent popularity. But those who need to get their popularity up, we'll put him in the ring with him, and it'll probably work, you know. 54 wrestling rating, crowd rating 23, segment rating 51. I do want to get Kaito Kiyomiya to basically end up being our figurehead and being the face of the company. That's too good, but we just have to build him up. He doesn't have the popularity so far. It's 12 in most regions, so yeah. Shinsuke says he accepts Ron's challenge. He tells Ron who he is. For years, I've carried Japanese wrestling to the biggest stages in the world. Everyone wants to talk about the next generation. All these new names, but there is only one king of strong style. I came to remind everyone that nobody takes my place. Takeshita then squares up to Nakamura and says, "You are no king of mine," and walks away. 67 segment rating. It's all heating up. So tonight on Power, we've got Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ron Killings, NWA World Title. Boy, oh boy, let's go. In a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Masha Slamovich defeated Kenzie Page by pinfall with a diving headbutt. Masha Slamovich with a 69, Kenzie Page with a 52. Storyline advanced and gained heat. Um, Kenzie and Masha, I don't know if that's something we're going to have on the pay-per-view. I think we're not in a position financially to just load up the pay-per-views with matches that may be okay. I think we're just going to, we've settled this one here on Power. Whether this continues or not, we're not sure. But we're going to leave them off the pay-per-view, which is why we've had this here. But the crowd were super into it. 41, wrestling rating 60. Masha Slamovich, who was TNA world champion, definitely put a shift in here. So King Kota was being interviewed, 63 segment rating, very good. Says, Davina Rose, you made your name by jumping me from behind. At the Crockett Cup, there'll be no surprises, no cheap shots, nowhere to run. You'll be standing across the ring from me, and you'll find out exactly why I'm King Kota. And it will be King Kota versus Davina Rose. So King Kota is the Kota guy, and Davina Rose is Bailey, and they will be facing the Crockett Cup for the title. In a bout that had superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Calamari Catch Kings, which was Chris Brooks and Joshua Gresham, defeated MXM when Chris Brooks pinned Mansoor with a praying mantis bomb. In terms of ring work, Jonathan Gresham was head and shoulders above everyone else. Mason Madden was the weak link, which is what I expected. Jonathan Gresham with an 82 on TV. Chris Brooks 70, Mason Madden 48, Mansoor 60. Mansoor is excellent, and he could definitely keep up. Mason Madden is not someone I'd be able to keep in the company with the performances that he puts on. And that was part of the Crockett Cup tournament. So the Calamari Catch Kings, who are already feuding with the Syndicate, which stems from the feud of Jonathan Gresham versus Shelton Benjamin. Cedric came in the company. He's done his little bit and then he's back Shelton. And then Chris Brooks has come in when he's realised his friend needed help. They're now both in the final of the Crockett Cup. So, yeah. Crowd rating 38 for this because there's no story. It's just a Crockett Cup tournament, semi-final. Wrestling rating 65, segment rating 68. I mean, it's amazing. Chemistry when teaming together, tag team specialist bonus, and it got the crowd buzzing. So, yeah. The Syndicate blindside their upcoming opponents for the Crockett Cup final. So Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin they attack Chris Brooks and Jonathan Gresham. Segment rating is 62. In a bout that had fantastic heat and good wrestling, Ron Killings drew with Shinsuke Nakamura when the match descended into chaos after a returning Ace Austin got involved. Ron Killings had an in-ring performance of 53. Shinsuke had an in-ring performance of 60. He was off his game though. The segment rating was 48, maybe because the way it ended. But the crowd was super into it. 57, wrestling rating 56. The crowd are very hot. And Ace Austin, who hasn't been seen since he lost his title to Ron Killings at the last pay-per-view, has now returned after seeing Ron Killings put it on the line 4 weeks in a row. He's now returned to the NWA. Ace grabs the microphone while Ron and Shinsuke are recovering. You two really thought you were going to decide the future of my championship without me. Ron, you won the title and defended it. Good for you. Shinsuke, you just got here. I have a rematch clause. And I told Billy Corgan I'm cashing it in. At the Crockett Cup, Ron Killings versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ace Austin for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. And segment rating 55, Ace Austin come across really well, and that sets it at the Crockett Cup. There will be a triple threat for the world title. Ace Austin returning to our screens. So let's finish the show. Obviously, we've got our being penalised regarding production. Overall rating 63. Would have hoped for better, but it is what it is. Show increase in popularity in 18 regions. That's the biggest thing. That means we've increased in popularity in the US and Canada, I would imagine, which is always a bonus. Less than 25 grand. I'm fine with that. Merchandise was decent, but obviously outside the shows, we're also making money on merchandise. So hopefully, like I said, that's probably going to be our saving grace. More money coming in from the merchandise. And let's see where we've got to. Phil 37 in the Southeast. We've got to get 59 in the Southeast and 5 other regions, which you know, we're there basically because they're all 37, in order to go to a medium size. So there's a long way to go for that to happen, a massive way to go. So we'll just see what happens. But the fact that we're getting the merchandise money definitely helps. So it's tonight's done that. Still got such a nurse being sold. Ronda Rousey's killing it with the merchandise. ISO Speed has made one appearance and he's like second because I'm not paying him the amount he's paying him. Just bring him to events. Jeff Hardy's sixth, even though he barely appeared. But yeah. Cool. Well, let's put this Crockett Cup, man. Save it. Give the night off. No one gets the night off. I don't know what I'm going to use. So we're in the Southeast. Oh, over 1,000 people. Okay. Really, we just want 1,000. Try and sell out. Hopefully, we do sell out. Use our broadcasters because no one else wants us at the moment. Hopefully, that will change soon because once we get a proper TV deal, everything will be much better, money wise as well. NWA Crockett Cup 2025. Lego. Start the show. So pre-show had decent wrestling but a non-existent crowd, obviously because A, it's a pre-show, and B, there's no storyline. Venny defeats Bozilla by pinfall with a springboard crossbody. Still gets a 61 rated segment, 51 rated segment, and Bozilla in performance 33, and Venny with a 63. This is why I want to start pushing Venny because her in-ring performance is excellent. Because look at it, wrestling rating 48. Brought down by Bozilla, of course. Crowd rating 12. Segment rating 51. So the crowd didn't care about it. It's a pre-show match. And because the wrestling is so high, segment rating is 51. You understand? Simple. So the wrestling always has to be good. And in front of 1,000 people, that means we sold out the venue. So next segment. Yeah, Ron Killings tells Danhausen that this is the challenge that he became champion for. Danhausen says he has faith in him and to avenge him for what Nakamura did. Nakamura attacking Danhausen a few hours ago. So, of course, 70 rated segment. Got the show off to a strong start. Crowd are hot and rising. I mean, it's one of the lowest ratings we've got when we've put these two together. So, it's not getting stale, but we've had better ratings like 86 and things like that. But it's all good. Kaito Kiyomiya versus Metalik versus Shun Skywalker. Metalik is the one that everybody knows. The other two, not very well known. But Metalik defeats Kaito Kiyomiya and Shun Skywalker, where Metalik pinned Kaito Kiyomiya in Springboard Dragon Rana. Kaito Kiyomiya was the weak link, which is really surprising. I'm struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performance. But I'm telling you now, if you play TW9 and you get Kaito Kiyomiya and you build him up, he can easily be the ace of your company and the biggest thing you will ever have in your save. So he's still got a rating of 59, which is really good for NWA. Metalik 75, showing why he's the TV champion, why I want him on TV wrestling every single week. And Shun Skywalker got a 68, which is really, really good. So the segment rating 66 because the wrestling was amazing, even though the crowd weren't really into it. Because two of the guys were not very well known. Crowd are hot, wrestling rating 67. Go to the next one. So Father James Mitchell is livid that Max the Impaler isn't on the card and he sets an open challenge, which is answered by Takumi Iroha. Segment rating 45. Crowd are white hot. Commentary lifted the segment and it got the crowd hotter, so they drew. Okay, so Takumi Iroha drew with Max the Impaler following a double count out. The match was designed to tell a specific story. And when I said that storytelling, it will hold wrestlers back? Takumi Iroha, in-ring performance, 70. Max the Impaler, 45. And she still managed to get a 70 working with someone who's only pulled out a 45. So a storyline started with them. Wrestling rating 58, crowd rating 32, segment rating 57 because the wrestling was so good. Mustafa Ali versus Aramis. Mustafa Ali wins. This is what I left up to the road agent. Aramis lost to Mustafa Ali with a reverse 450. And Ali makes his defense number 3 of the NWA National Heavyweight title. Mustafa Ali with a 60. Aramis with a 74. Aramis is hologram if you watch AEW. And maybe it went on a little bit too long. But wrestling rating 67. Crowd were well into this with a 41. Segment rating 68. Let's move on to the next one. So, 6-minute angle that took place. I show speed. He seeks help from Konosuke Takeshita. And the segment rating was 83. I show speed looked good because obviously he's super, super popular. Agency defeated Violence is Forever in a tables match. AR Fox was eliminated first, then Dominic Guarini, and finally Kevin Koo. The match was designed so that the wrestlers could go out and try and steal the show. The agency make it defense number 6 of the NWA World Tag Team titles, so they have solidified themselves as a legitimate tag team. I like these ratings: 66, 71 for AR, 64 Kevin Koo, 62 Dominic Guarini. Took stump bumps, which obviously upped the rating. Wrestling rating 66. Crowd were into it, not as hot as other matches. Segment rating 74. The wrestling rating was so high. So that's fine. The agency, they may have been knocked out of the Crockett Cup, but they still hold the tag titles. Colby Carino is Caleb Becker interviews the Alliance champion Colby Carino after it has been announced that he will face El Fantasmo on Power. And El Fantasmo, as I mentioned before, benefited from having a groundswell of public support. So segment rating is 50. And move on to the next one. So this is disappointing. King Kota defeated Davina Rose by pinfall, which Davina Rose is Bailey. King Kota is Dakota Kai, while using the ropes for leverage. Dakota makes it defense number 2 of the NWA World Women's Junior Heavyweight title, which is a title that I created. I just changed the Junior Heavyweight title to a women's title. King Kota got an in-ring performance of 50. Davina Rose got an in-ring performance of 59. But they don't seem to click, and it made for an awkward bout. So another 1v1 match for those two wouldn't make any sense because they just don't click. There's no chemistry between the performers. The crowd rating was 56, wrestling rating 54, segment rating 54. The crowd was super into this. Speed talks about why he backed Ron Killings at the last pay-per-view. He says Ace disrespected him and is not getting in the ring with him, so he lent a helping hand how he knew he could. Maurice confronts Speed and blames him for Ace losing his title. She swears Ace will get revenge. And then Ace does go and attack him. So the promo from Speed, Maurice 56, but then the attacking after 62 when Ron Killings comes in and makes a save. So Speed invented a new catchphrase that will likely boost his ability on the microphone as he now has a go-to line. And it'll probably boost merch as well. Segment rating 60, crowd are very hot. Okay. Oh my word, no. So right, so I've made a mistake. I made it a technical masterclass, which I wasn't going to. And now that I did, obviously, I've put it in the wrong place. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to put it at the start of the show. And I've got the crowd to simmer down. I guess it's okay. But Chris Brooks pinned Cedric Alexander with a prayer mantis bomb, and the Calamari Catch Kings win the Crockett Cup. In terms of ring work, Jonathan Gresham was head and shoulders above everyone else. Cedric Alexander was the weak link. Jonathan Gresham, an 83. Chris Brooks, 66. Shelton Benjamin, 72. Cedric Alexander, 50. I have been having Chris Brooks make the pins and win the matches just to boost his popularity because he's come over from Japan, so he's not really known by American viewers. He's an English wrestler, very, very good. You might see him in TJPW and other wrestling promotions. But the wrestling is 68, crowd rating 42, segment rating 62. And even though it was a technical masterclass in the wrong place, as it said, this was poorly placed, a technical match isn't the right thing to be feeding a rowdy crowd. Because the wrestling was so good, the segment rating's good. The lights go out, smoke appears, and on the screen, a vignette plays. The words Lexi Cabrera appear on screen. She walks to the ring, and the crowd are in shock. She cuts a scathing promo talking about her superiority to this company and those who work for it. During her promo, she hears someone else on the mic saying, "Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up." And that person is walking through the crowd, and that person is a debuting Bea Priestley. She cuts a promo, and they get to scrapping. 62 for the promos, 48 for the scrapping. Um, Little Miss Bliss got an initial rating of great, but I'm changing it. Bea Priestley did not. Okay, so I accidentally made it improvised. Um, oh no, because Lexi didn't want it improvised, did she? She was superb working without a script, had the crowd in the palm of her hand the entire time, and got initial rating of great. So I don't know if I'm going to change her gimmick. I think I'll leave it then. Segment rating 56. And that will start a program with those two. Oh my word, there's reds all over the place. So in a wild brawl that had heat and decent wrestling, Ronda Rousey defeated Shayna Baszler by submission with an armbar. She makes a defense number 1 of the NWA World Title. This was a shoot fight between the two of them, as they both do MMA. Shayna Baszler sustained a cracked tailbone. Ronda Rousey, 55. Obviously, she's in poor form, so she gets penalised, but 55 in the NWA is a pretty good rating. Shayna Baszler, 44, but she was slowed by the injury, so we can forgive her for that. If you're getting like 40s and things like that, we just release you. And they don't seem to click, and that made for an awkward bout. So we're probably just going to leave that one there. Wrestling rating 49, crowd rating 54, segment rating 50. Let's move on. The backstage heat on Ronda Rousey after her botched pulled Shayna Baszler's to get hurt. Shelton and Gresham brawl backstage, and storyline has advanced with this segment and gained heat. The performance of Jonathan Gresham was good. Angle got the crowd hotter. The crowd are white hot. Segment rating 71, and that's what I'm saying. These two, it's a massive rivalry. It's a banging rivalry. So let's get to the next one, which I think is, I think it's the final, not final, but the final segment, the main event. Ace Austin joined NWA, built the company up. Ron Killings earned his title shot through the Dusty Rhodes Classic. Lost to Ace Austin. Had another match. No, I think he beat Ace Austin. He beat Ace Austin. Ace Austin went away. Ace Austin's been away for 4 or 5 weeks. He comes back. Ron Killings in that time. Shinsuke Nakamura's made his debut. Attacked Ron Killings after defending the belt. Gone a little bit AWOL. Kept Killings on his toes in his comeback. They went for the main event. Let's fight then, because Ron Killings has been defending his belt every week. Shinsuke versus Ron. Ace comes in, ruins the match, says, "I want my rematch. We're making this a triple threat." Show Speed actually got involved in the match with Ron Killings and Ace, which enabled Ace to lose his title in the first place. But Ace Austin has now come back to NWA, and let's see what happens. Ace Austin defeated Ron Killings and Shinsuke Nakamura when Ace Austin pins Ron Killings with the fold. The match was designed so that the wrestlers can go out and steal the show. And during the match, we also had Konosuke Takeshita run in and attack Nakamura. Ace Austin wins NWA World Heavyweight title. So, we've linked Konosuke Takeshita, do you remember? Had a conversation with Show Speed. Show Speed was later attacked by Ace Austin. Konosuke Takeshita has interfered in a match against Nakamura, who we saw on Power. Nakamura had some words about being the best Japanese wrestler, X, Y, and Z. And Takeshita told him, "You're no king of mine." So now we can kind of shimmy off Nakamura and Konosuke Takeshita, and they can go down their road. And Ace is now 2-time world champion, NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He did tell Ron Killings before. Ron Killings, he 3-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Only the last time he held it was probably like 2004 or something like that. Something like that, when it was NWA TNA titles. He told Ron Killings, "You never held these singles titles, because we're not talking about the 24/7 championship. You've been a joke." And yeah, Ron Killings, short reign. He defended it week in, week out, just like kind of like the Darby Allin reign. He's 53. We're not building a company around him. Ace is back as 2-time world champion. He held it for, I think, 136 days last time, but he's back again. and he showed in his performance. Ron Killings with a 66 in-ring performance, Ace Austin with a 75 in-ring performance, Shinsuke Nakamura with a 70. Making this a triple threat was a really good decision. Wrestling rating 70, crowd rating 55, which is one of the highest crowd ratings I've ever seen for any match I've done during this save. Segment rating 72. Um, Creative finish was a success. Danhausen did some good work at ringside. Ace Austin took a stump bump, and the match got the crowd buzzing. And what a way to finish the show! What a way to finish the show! So let's just have a look at everything. What rating did we get? We got a 68. Yeah, which is very good considering these things here. Unfortunately, once you move into a small company and we're in the southeast region, your production values need to be as good as the others. It can't be worse than more than one rival. But we've got NXT in our region. On top of that, there's TNA as well. So we have not as good production as those two companies. So we do get noted down. Because I'm used to my other saves where I'm getting 90s, 68 doesn't seem like a great score. The last pay-per-view we got in the 70s, I think. Um, so, but I know 68 is a high score. Increased our popularity in 7 regions, which is probably Canada. But we've sold out, and it's a good show. And I know that if this wasn't here, this would definitely be in the 70s. So for what we've managed to do, I think it's been a tremendous success. Um, in-ring performers, the best ones was Jonathan Gresham, who was awesome. I think Ace Austin, I'll give him a hug. And Iroha got a 70. Might have been Shelton Benjamin, I think Shelton Benjamin was excellent as well. So they're pleased. Injury review. Shayna Baszler's out for 30 days. Can be worked through. It probably won't. We'll probably just give her some time off. Finances. Let's see where we are. We lost 23 grand, which is okay. Merchandise 3,000, which is the most we've made. Most we've made in ticket sales. Most we've made in broadcast revenue, I think. We've done excellent with that. And popularity, I expect that to be in Canada. Yes, it is. It's not pushed our popularity in the United States. Um, but the last Power did. And we had that on the last pay-per-view. Didn't push our popularity. It was only once we jumped onto the next show that it happened. So no media scrum because we're just not big enough. And yeah, and that was it. So I said I'd do Power. And then I said I'd do the pay-per-view. And that was a pay-per-view. So yeah, I just want to have a look at. I want to see how many viewers we got from that. And how we do after we normally like skip forward to Tuesday. And then because normally what I do is when I come off stream, I then set up the next Power. So then when we stream again, we just go straight into an episode of Power. That's why all my NWA, my TW9 content, we start off with just going into the show. Yeah, these guys were at New Japan last night. So we missed a few heads. No one who really changed anything. They're saying it was awesome. Nearly 44,000 viewers, which is the most we've had. And I'm really proud of this card. Open challenge angle was a little bit dead in the 40s, but I'm really happy with that world title match. Isha Speed, new catchphrase. They've been buzzing, and shortly after it debuts, one insider heard comment that's going to sell a hell of a lot of t-shirts, and I'm hoping it does. He is already our second highest merch seller, so I'm really happy. Rosilla is money, strap a rocket to her. I will strap a rocket to her. She is money, but we need to up her popularity because it's not good. So that's why we have her wrestling on pre-shows, and I've tried to loan her out to all these other companies so she can get more popular. Chris Brooks, feeling the effects of grueling effects of the recent schedule, so take that into account as well. And yeah, I mean, listen, I think Isha Speed, we've got 70-30. I think he takes 30% of his merch. So I'm really happy with that, man. I don't think it could have gone much better, if I'm being honest. We've kept it like cool in regards to the amount of people we're using and stuff like that on the show and whatnot. We kept the cost down. We are going to run out of money, but we'll just see what happens. At the end of the day, we've invested. We wouldn't have been as popular as we would be if we weren't putting the money in. Having to up the production values has kind of killed us a little bit as well. It definitely ruined us, but we'll be okay. We'll be fine. So I'm just going to push through until, obviously we're on Saturday, but I'm going to push through until Tuesday, when that will be the next power day. We can't do it on Boxing Day, can we? Let's just put 27th and see what happens. And this is what I mean. So let me show you what I mean when I talk about events. Whatever your event is, you can click availability and it will tell you in red who's unavailable and booked elsewhere on certain dates. So at the moment, looks at Kill. We did Saturday, 27th of December. One half of the tag champs are not there. So we might just do it on a Friday. You never know. We'll see. But we will see. Anything in the news we need to know about? I don't think so. I think we can say I've never been with a company that has like no money, but progress on this save of like -8, like 900k, and it's still able to operate. So I wonder what kind of happens when you get in a little bit of debt. I guess it's just business. You can still operate, surely. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But we are heading to Tuesday, which means it will be the next episode of Power, which we will be doing on a different stream. And yeah, we've got some powers to go. We have new champions. Mustafa Ali retains his belt, 109 days as champ, 161 days as champions for the tag champions, and the prestige has gone up as well. This prestige, when we started, was 29. We started in June 2025, and this is 2nd of December 2025. The prestige has gone up by 5 points. Metalik, 142 days as champion, 13 successive title defenses. Women's World Champion, 36. I believe it was 30 when we started. This Dakota Kai, 67 days into her title reign. Ronda's only had those for 39. And Ace Austin is now current 2-time champion of the NWA World Heavyweight title after he took it off a 3-time world champion, Ron Killen. So as you see, Ace Austin originally held it from the 7th of June 2025 to Friday, the 24th of October, 139-day reign. And now he starts his reign again. And he has definitely been built up. If we look at his popularity, when we first signed him, he was on 260 per show. Once we got ourselves to a small company and we could offer exclusive deals, we offered him exclusive deal, and he's on 1,000 per show. Because if we look at the progress from when he signed, he was actually in the 20s, and he was a free agent because he left TNA. But I think this was before he signed AEW deal last year. He's obviously gone leaps and bounds in terms of popularity in the US and in Canada. So we've definitely built him up to be like, this is our guy. A heel. He's kind of got his own faction as well. I forgot to include his faction members. But yeah, that's how we're ending it today. Ace Austin is the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. But yeah, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, people. So, cool. Peace.
So don't worry if ik spreek een beetje Nederlands. And don't worry if ik kom uit de Engeland. I'm uit Amsterdam, ben ik honger. I just came for smallers and some pictures for the gram. I'm back in the city, man.